Hey everybody, it is a Wednesday. Welcome back to What's Cooking Wednesday on the Second Chance Kitchen. I'm Christy. Thank you for joining me today. So it feels like it's been a while since I've done anything, and I do apologize for not being around more the last week or two. We are getting ready to move. And so it's been really hectic trying to get the house ready and declutter and all that stuff. So we've been in this house for 15 years, so we've got a lot to get out. Anyway, but I do want to come back on and do a live today since I missed out last week. We were meeting with our realtor, and so they are coming Friday to take pictures. Anyway, so all of that aside, we are making a recipe today. It's a no cook, no bake, something kind of simple. I was a little confused on some of the ingredients and the amount to get, but we'll get into that in a second. So today's recipe comes from one of these. It's plastic, and I paid $1 for this one, the file box. Here's the recipe right here. But going through it, like all of this stuff back here is all just like clippings from magazines or newspapers or whatever, and they just kind of glued them on to like an index card, so something like that. See, but there were a few. Let me see. Oh, from this big one on. So from here forward are all handwritten, so I guess it was worth $1 for all that. But I usually go through and I throw all the clippings and stuff away, unless there's like some really old ones from newspapers, which I think there were some in here from like 1977, the late 70s, I think. But anyway, so today's recipe comes from this box, and I'm still trying to figure out which way to go. Hi, darling, I see ya. Okay, so there is no title to this recipe today. Here it is. Here's the recipe. So you can see the handwriting. It's just on a thin, tattered piece of paper. I'll get it right. Hang on. There we go. I guess I'm still trying to figure out this little device that Anthony got me for my birthday. And so you don't have to read everything backwards anymore. It, I guess, mirrors it a certain way so I can record and everything is correct. Anyway, so it's just a matter of going, which direction do I need to go? Anyway, so let's get making this. I'm going to read the ingredients and we'll see. We'll see what you think. So you need 1 large box of Velveeta. Now, the stuff in here was pretty old, so I was trying to think at the grocery store, they have the big 2-pound box of Velveeta, right? But back then, did they always have the big 2-pound box? I don't know, I was torn. So I got the 1 pound, the 1 pound original, and this may be my fault, I don't know. But I got the 1 pound, so it says 1 large box. So I was like, I don't know if they had the big 2-pounders back then. Anyway, so we're gonna go with the 1 pound. And then the next ingredient is 1 large carton of cream cheese. Well, I don't think they had the cream cheese in the containers back then. It was just a normal block. So I got a standard size 8-ounce block of cream cheese. So I figured a 2-pound thing of Velveeta with 8 ounces of this would be, the ratio would be like too much of this. So I figured this might be a pretty good ratio, 8 ounces and 1 pound. So that's what we're gonna try and see how it turns out. So, okay, so 1 large box of Velveeta, 1 large carton of cream cheese, 5 large jalapenos, and I had my husband pick out these jalapenos, y'all. When I said large, he got large. Look at that. Look how big that sucker is. Look at that, it's huge. It's like the size of my hand. I have 5 of those, so hopefully they're not too spicy. 1 bunch of green onions, a sprinkle of garlic salt, roll in, and it says the directions only say roll in a log, serve in slices. So it's some type of cheese log, right? It says roll into wax paper, and then I can't read the handwriting underneath it. So we're gonna go with it. Normally I would have liked to have had all this chopped ahead of time, but I literally found this recipe last night, and so we're gonna have to take a little bit of time and chop it all together. Let me grab the garlic salt. I forgot to grab it. Hang on. Garlic salt. I cleaned out my cabinet, my spice cabinet. Hang on. And I know, here we go. I don't normally do garlic salt. I just do salt plus garlic powder, but I do have a garlic salt. Although it doesn't say so much. So let me pull you down, and we're going to start chopping stuff. So hopefully it won't take me too long to get all this stuff chopped together. All right. Bring you down, and let's see, how does that look? Oh, bonk. I could just bonk you. Let me know. Let me know how it is. This way. Okay. How's that? Okay, y'all tell me if it's good or not, right? So I guess we'll just start chopping everything and then we'll put the cheese in, or should we open up the cheese first? I don't know. Let's open up the cheese first. So I've got my 8-ounce block of Velveeta, and I guess we're just gonna call this a cheese log. What do you think? Pretty self-explanatory. Again, no clue as to an actual title for this recipe, but it's, you know, it's cheese and it says to roll into a log, so we're just gonna call it a cheese log. Sounds like a plan. Okay. We went to the store this morning, and I know there's an easier way to open this stuff. What in the world? Didn't you used to be able to just pull it open? They changed it, didn't they? Or am I just used to buying the off-brand and it's easy to open? Anyway, so we went to the gym this morning and straight to the grocery store, and I didn't have time to chop all this stuff ahead of time. Why is this? Either I don't know what I'm doing, or Velveeta needs, Philadelphia needs to get their act together. Okay. That one's open, and I bought the 1 pound block of cheese. Okay. Hi, Val. Of course, anything with cheese and jalapenos, it's gotta be good. I'm just worried about how hot these jalapenos are gonna be. Maybe it's like all talk, you know, because they're so dang big. When I said large, he bought large. He picked out large. We were kind of like on a, okay, here's my list. You go here, you get this. I go here, I get this type of mission today, so we could get back. I'll be here in time. We go to the YMCA to get our workout in, and the boy is with us now. So unfortunately, he has to go to the kids club because he hasn't taken the course to where he can work out on the floor because he's old enough. He just hasn't. We haven't gotten him the certification yet, or taken the kind of like an intro type class. Anyway, so he had to go to the kids club, and they don't open until 9 o'clock. All right, so let's chop up these onions. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. If you can't, let me know, and I will try to adjust the best I can. And the one thing about this little device that Anthony got me, it's tiny. It makes the screen small on my end, so it kind of makes it hard for me to read messages. Something I'll say, so if I don't reply right away, that's why. But I'm not going to ignore you. I will eventually go back and make sure I read everything and reply to you guys. I was trying to make sure when we were decluttering, make sure that I didn't put, go ahead and pack certain things away already. And I was like, okay, I need to leave this out just in case I need it for cooking something alive. I did. So I finally, if you've been following me, I've been trying to use up a thing of pepper that I had because my pepper grinder broke. And so I had to buy just some regular pepper. Oh, run away onion. Let's see, does it say to chop? Chop fine. Okay, so we're gonna chop these fine. The pepper. I had to remember what I was doing. The pepper. Anyway, so I was trying to use up that little container of pepper so I could use the new pepper grinder. My mom got me the electric ones or whatever that just go zzz, you push the button and you don't actually have to. So I used up the pepper like a week or so ago. I was so excited, and turns out I have already packed away the new salt and pepper shaped grinders that my mom got. So I had to go buy another thing of pepper. Ugh. I don't know what considered chopping fine is. We're winging it today. So it's kind of like a cheese ball where you just mix it all together. But we're using Velveeta and cream cheese. I'm sure you can buy off-brand. I bought the name brand. If we like it and I make it again, more than likely I'll go with the cheap way. I'm not cheap, sorry, the frugal way. And try the store brand stuff. Make it a little bit cheaper, because let's be honest, these Velveeta blocks are a little on the pricey side. I'm all about trying store brands if we're able. And there are some store brand items that sometimes you just have to get the name brand stuff, Sometimes you just gotta pay for the good stuff. But for the most part, I don't know. Like, we used to be kind of like that with batteries. Like the cheaper batteries or the store brand batteries just didn't seem to last as long. I did buy some at Sam's a while back, and those, one time, and they seem to be pretty good batteries. Seem to last longer than like some of the cheaper ones, but they're the Sam's brand. Anyway, apparently I cannot dice and talk today, so feel free to talk amongst yourselves. And I know, so if y'all haven't heard Chef Ann Burrell, I never really watched her, but apparently my mom tells me all the time that she would come pick my finger because I put my finger on top of the blade like that when I'm using a knife. But she passed away yesterday. She's only 55, so God bless her soul, and hopefully her family is dealing with that. Anyway, I don't know, holding it like this, it makes my wrist feel weird. Like, I don't feel like I have as good as control holding it like this, and I feel like my wrist, I feel like it's turned like this. I don't know. Am I supposed to chop this? Just, you know what? This works for me. Paint my finger red. I'm not a professional chef. I'm a stay-at-home mom who does a bad job of cleaning and cooking. I just know how to follow a recipe. That's all. So this wasn't a huge bunch of onions. I know sometimes bunches can be pretty big, but this wasn't huge. I love green onions. Chop, chop, chop. Alright, we're gonna throw that part away. Now the part that I'm not waiting for, these jalapenos. Maybe they're just like one of those, they look huge and gigantic, but they're not really spicy at all. Just look at these suckers, you guys. Look at that. Look how big those are. Those are gigantic. They're so big. So big. Okay. Hi, Rachel. Alright, let's chop these things up. Maybe I should dry it off completely. I did get it, wash them off ahead of time though. Do not, y'all remind me, do not touch my eyes. Alright, 5 large jalapenos. It says chop fine. Alright, well we're just going to chop them kind of like we did the onions. to take the seeds out. Let's give it a sniff test. It smells green. It doesn't smell super spicy. Is there an easier way to do this? Because a spoon, maybe? Spoon the seeds out as I don't know. Now I got seeds going everywhere. They're flying around. If you want to come help me, if somebody wants to come help me do all this ahead of time, feel free. I will not turn the help down. I need a sous chef, right? A sous chef. I have 2 children who don't want to help me in the kitchen. Ahem, ahem. I know one of y'all was watching. This makes me want some pico de gallo. Okay. Here's one. Cut, clean, and ready to chop. Do y'all like eating just jalapenos, you know, just taking a bite with your food? There are people that do that, you know. I'm not one of them, but there are people that do. I mean, if it's not spicy, why not go for it? I like a good jalapeno that just tastes like a jalapeno, but there's no spice. You know what I mean? Like those, you know, all those hot, spicy chips that are out, and they're so bad because there's like, it's not even spicy in a good way. It's just plain hot, and it doesn't taste like anything but hot. And but there's a kind of, they're Cheetos. I'll say the name. Not sponsored or anything. They're Cheetos, but they're jalapeno cheddar, and I like those because they're not that I can't handle spice. I like spicy stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I want to be able to taste what I'm eating too, and not just nothing but hot and spicy, you know what I mean? Anyway, so the cheddar jalapeno ones are actually good because you can taste the green, like a jalapeno green flavor. And they have a little bit of a kick to them, but they're not overly spicy. So you can taste flavors. I like to taste flavors. I don't want my mouth burning so much that I'm just like, ugh. All I have is just hotness in my mouth. I usually use a knife for this, but I thought maybe we'll try the spoon method. I've seen somebody do that before. It's not working too bad. It's doing pretty good. If y'all have an easier way to do this, let me know. I'm all up for tips and tricks and ideas. All right, let's get these cut up and then we'll do the last 2. Oh, that just completely jumped. All that spray just jumped up and hit me in the face. Uh-oh. I did wash my face when we got home, so I'm gonna be all sweaty. Not that I got super sweaty. I didn't really do any cardio today. I did all weights, and because I got on the treadmill, and apparently the socks I put on every time I would walk, my socks were slipping under my heel. And it was just annoying. Have y'all ever had that happen? Ugh. So I was like, forget it. I was battling my socks, and it just was a weird feeling. So mental note, do not wear these socks to the gym, or if you're gonna do a lot of walking, because that was just very annoying. So it says chop fine. I'm not really like chopping fine. Probably could go less than that. There's a lot of jalapenos. Maybe I should have gotten a big block of Velveeta. Anyway, for just joining me today, we are making what I'm going to call a cheese log, because it doesn't have a title to it. It's not called anything. I'll show you the paper here in a minute when I'm done with this. And all it calls for is, it called for a large box of Velveeta, but I only bought the 1 pound box because I didn't think they had a 2 pound box back in the day. I mean, not too far back because it is Velveeta, but I just bought the 1 pound box. And then it says 1 large carton of cream cheese. And as far as I know, Cream cheese only comes in one, well, I guess there are smaller ones, but I got the standard 8-ounce block of cream cheese. And so I figured the 1 pound of Velveeta and the 8 ounces of cream cheese would be a good ratio. I figured if I had bought the big box of Velveeta, the big 2-pounder, I just didn't know if that ratio would be what you're, you know, what it's supposed to be. So we're gonna try this and see how it works. See how it comes out. Maybe this will be good for taking to a party. Ooh, this is spraying jalapeno spray everywhere. Nice and green though, I love it. Uh-oh. That was I think some got in my throat. Lots of greens, lots of greens, lots of greens. It doesn't say, oh, also, sorry, I was in the middle of telling you what we're doing. Also calls for 1 bunch of green onions. So I've already chopped that and put that in there. And some sprinkle of garlic salt. Doesn't say how much, just says a sprinkle. Then you, I guess, mix it all together and roll it into a log. I've got some wax paper out on a cookie sheet ready to go. And then it says serve in slices. So I guess you kind of maybe want to refrigerate it for a while to kind of help firm it up because, of course, the Velveeta was not cold. The cream cheese was, but, you know, since I took it from the store, it's just been sitting out, which wasn't that long ago. That's a lot of jalapenos. She got me some crackers out to try it. And we still have 2.5 more to go. Maybe they didn't mean this big of jalapenos. Hope y'all are having a good day. It is hot outside already here in Fort Worth. Ugh, 90-degree weather. No fun, no fun. All right, here is number 3. So yes, we are going to be moving from Fort Worth over to the Dallas side. I am from Dallas, so it's kind of like I'm gonna go back home to my neck of the woods. My husband is from Fort Worth, so we've been living in Fort Worth for the past 16 years, or I have anyway. So time to make him a Dallas boy out of him. He turned me into a Fort Worth girl. I actually love Fort Worth. I like it over here. But we are changing the kids' schools up a little bit. So we just don't want to make that drive every day. So we're going to move over to the Dallas side. So pretty soon we'll be cooking in a whole new kitchen. This house is from the 70s. It was built in the 70s. So it's not exactly, you know, video friendly. It's not the best lighting. It's not the best setup. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. All right, lots of jalapenos. Last 2. Scrape out these seeds. Oh, whoops. Oh, that just sprayed me all over my face. I need to go wash my face again. I guess you could always take a bite of your jalapeno, and if it's not spicy, leave the seeds in or some of the membrane. That's where all the heat is, right? Is it the seeds or is it this white membrane part? I've heard both. But I want to take out as many seeds as possible in case Anthony wants to try it. But it is a lot of cheese, so he may not, he may want to steer clear. Especially after the lasagna I made. It was pretty cheesy. You know, you have your ricotta cheese, but then I also put provolone slices in there. Because when provolone melts, it gets really melty. Anyway, so I had some provolone cheese. I added that too. And I'm going to cut this part of the jalapeno off. It's kind of brown. I don't think it's going to miss any of that. And that one's got a spot on it, so we'll get rid of that too. Okay. Last two, let's chop them up. Then we just got a little bit of garlic salt to add. I'm gonna take that piece off right there because it didn't look too pretty inside. And let's just take that off. There's plenty of jalapeno in that bowl already. It is not gonna miss those little pieces I just cut off. Alrighty, back to chopping. And you know, I have, but I've already packed it away. You know, one of those chopper type of things? That would have taken care of this pretty quick, I'm sure. So if you have one of those, or if you just like to chop by hand. Some of these must have been a little spicy because my throat is feeling a little scratchy. So pardon me for having to clear it. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to pick something sweet because we've had a lot of sweets around lately. You know, we've had, my birthday was the end of April, and then the boy's birthday was May 1st, and the girl's birthday was in May. Then we had Mother's Day, and now we've had Father's Day, and got Anthony a cheesecake for Father's Day. So we still have cheesecake in the refrigerator. So I was like, let's try something not sweet today. Okay. My knife is still pretty sharp. I usually sharpen it ahead of time, but I didn't do that today. Don't make fun of my chopping techniques. You chop how you chop, I chop how I chop. Everybody does what works for them, right? And me putting my finger on the top of the blade, sorry, Miss Ann Morrell, but this is how I feel comfortable chopping. Okay, a little bit more to go. Making a cheese log is what I'm going to call it because it's cheese and it says to roll it in a log. So we're going to call, oh, excuse me, hiccup. We're going to call this a cheese log. All right, that's all we need for that. Let me rinse my hand off. Oh, I touched my finger to my tongue. Yeah, there's one or some that are pretty spicy in there. Ooh, dog. Why did I do that? I touched my finger to my tongue. I'm a glutton for punishment. Okay, cheesecake for lunch. Can't go wrong with that. All right, now it says sprinkle of garlic salt. So again, here's the recipe for just joining me. Try not to get it wet. Well, the lighting's not super good. Hang on, there. I'll get it straightened out in a minute. So a sprinkle of garlic salt, okay? How much is a sprinkle? Like that? We'll go with, you know, one to grow on. You can always add more, right? Okay, so let's take this spoon. Why do I have a feeling I might have to use my hands for this to break this up? And I guess we're just gonna, yeah, I have a feeling I have to get my hands dirty because this isn't spreading too well. All right, here we go. You know what, they're already spicy. You might as well get them cheesy too. All right, let's mix that up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Should have gotten a bigger bowl. Let's mix up these jalapenos and the onions. Run away, run away. I hope if you try this that you like jalapenos and onions. Squish, squish, squish. That is a lot. How could we have done this better? Maybe mix the two cheeses together first and then you just incorporate the greens. Oh, this is working pretty well. Just my advice, get a bigger bowl. So I was like, oh, it's not that. It's just an 8-ounce block and a 1-pound block. Squish, squish, squish. How do you like that? Is that some ASMR stuff? Listen. Squish, squish, squish. I'm mainly just trying to mix the two cheeses together so you don't get like a big old bite of yellow cheese and a big old bite of cream cheese. And my hands are always hot, so it's softening that cheese up pretty quick. Not that it was hard, but you know what I mean. Alright, getting there, almost done. And then I bet once you put it in the refrigerator, then you'll be able to slice it, because this, I don't think you'll be able to slice that very well. Let's break up that Velveeta. See, hopefully this tastes good, and then y'all can make it and take it to a party, and then y'all will be known as the cheese log people. We'll have a so-and-so bring the cheese log. They make a great cheese log. Or I guess you could just round it and turn it into a ball, a cheese ball, but that's a pretty big ball. I think it would probably make 2 decent size. How you doing, cheese? Smack that cheese. Alright, I think I've pretty much mixed the two together. And if not, well then, it's alright. Let me grab some crackers. I'm gonna try this, see how it tastes. And then I'll... It is super messy. Nice and messy. Okay, let me grab some crackers. Let's taste this bad boy. And I just got some club crackers here. You can open with one hand. Alright, I'm just gonna scoop a little bit onto a cracker. Like that, with my fingers. Hands are clean, of course. I didn't say it, but yes, hands are clean, hands are washed, hair's pulled back, aprons on, all that fun stuff. Forgot to say it today. Alright. Cheers! Let's try. Mmm. Yo, that's good. It is very oniony. But unless I didn't get any of those spicy jalapenos, it's not really spicy. I would personally add a little bit more. I don't think it needs salt, because if you're gonna eat it with crackers or something, those already have salt on them. But I might add some more garlic. I would probably add a little more garlic to the finished product. I think it's good. I like it, but can you go wrong with cheese, jalapeno, and onions? I mean, it's like queso, but in a solid form, right? All right, let me pull this wax paper over. All right, I have this. Let's try and dump this out somehow and turn it into a log. Don't laugh. Oops. A big log. Big, cheesy, messy log. Why do I feel like I'm gonna be the only one in this family eating this? anybody wants to come by and grab some, by all means, come on over. Doors always open to friends and family. All right. So now that we've got a big old pile of goop, pile of cheese, let's see if I can, whoop, I just flung that across the counter. Let me wash my hands. Let me wash my hand off and maybe we'll try to roll it with the wax paper. I don't know if I didn't cut a big enough piece. All right, hang on, let me try to get this cheese off. Hopefully it comes off pretty easy. Hang on. Slimy cheese. Maybe I should have used a glove. Lesson learned. Wear a glove so your hands don't get so gross. All right. I guess that's good enough. Yeah, wear like a little glove so next time it's not so icky. All right, so let's. I'm gonna trick that. How do we? Whoops. Whoops. Maybe I should have did it this way. Y'all help me out. I need some advice. A hot mess. This is a hot mess. Hot mess. Is it looking like a log? It's looking like a log. Kind of. Not really. Maybe a little bit. If I ripped it all. Alright, let me get maybe wax paper. I mean, this is wax paper, but hang on. Let me get another. Put this in the trash. Don't need that. Trash. That over there. Don't need this one. Oh, too much stuff in the way. Alright, let's do maybe a longer piece. So right now it looks like a taco. Okay, let's try. Excuse me. Oh no, oh no, oh no, I'm making a mess. Oh no. Oh no. How do I get this out of the way? Going straight for here. Oh my goodness, look what I did. Y'all. Oh my gracious. So much for washing my hands. That was pointless. Alright. Oh my goodness. There's got to be an easier way to turn this into a log, right? There has to be. Clean off my hands. Okay. We're gonna make a long log. There we go. Let's work it. Work it, work it, work the cheese. Work it, work it, work the cheese. Okay. This is a hot mess. Y'all can laugh, totally fine. But see, my trial and error will help you if you decide to make this. See, now it's not like the big, huge, gigantic. We're spreading it out. That was my idea, to spread it out. See, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. I just had it too thick. Rolling a cheese log. Oh, careful, Christy, careful. Getting careless. Don't rip it. See, look, we're logging. We're making a cheese log. See? My hot mess mistakes. It'll all turn out. It's just cheese, y'all. Ay, Chihuahua. Yikes. Sorry. Man. Alright. I'm going to call that a good cheese log. You slice it. It's still probably a little too thick because look how big that piece will be if you slice it. So ideally, you probably want to go a little bit longer. Or you know what? Make 2 logs next time. Make 2 logs. Squeeze it out. You know, you could have so much fun with a block of Velveeta and a block of cream cheese. A bunch of onions and a whole lot of jalapenos. So yes, I would add a little more garlic, but I like to make these just as they are. Y'all know. I don't like to make any adjustments to the recipe the first time I make it. Alright, you know what? Let's quit because it's getting a little big on this side. It's not spreading. Anyway, we'll go one more this side and then we'll close it up. So I'll roll it up. I'm going to stick it in the fridge and hopefully it'll harden up a little bit. So what do y'all think? Looks like a good cheese log? I think it looks like a good cheese log. Alright. Let's roll this baby up. Roll, roll, roll. Roll, roll, roll. Alright, let's clean off this little cookie sheet. My old cookie sheet. And slide this on. Gotta be at an angle, and that's it. Our self-titled cheese log is done. Ta-da! My suggestion, cut it in half and make 2 smaller logs or a bunch of balls. Let me lift you back up. So, hi, that was fun, wasn't it? Who's gonna make a cheese log? So again, let me go over the recipe one more time. 1 large box of Velveeta. I used a 1 pound of the original. I know they have like different flavors, different kinds. This is just the original. 1 large carton of cream cheese. I used an 8-ounce block. And 5 large jalapenos. They were definitely large. 1 bunch of green onions. You chop both of those fine. And sprinkle of garlic salt. I didn't measure. I just kind of sprinkle. And then it says roll into a log, serve in slices. It doesn't say refrigerate. It says roll into wax paper. Roll up. Alright, here, I'm going to hold this up and see if y'all can read what it says at the very bottom. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, can y'all read what that says at the very bottom? Because I can't tell what that says. It says roll in wax paper and underneath, I don't know, couldn't figure it out. Anyway. So we're calling it a cheese log. It's cheese rolled into a log. So we're gonna refrigerate it. I did taste it on a cracker and it tastes good. It tastes like cheese and onions and some jalapeno. It's not bad, you know? Just take a lactose pill beforehand if you can't have cheese. So enjoy. Thank you for joining me today. I'll slice it up after it gets cooled off in the fridge and gets a little bit hard, hopefully. And check back in with you guys, I guess, give you an update. Although I think it was good the way it was, like a soft cheese. Anyway, so did I see the word foil? I don't think the word foil is on there, well. Yeah, foil, something in, roll up something in wax paper or foil. Okay, so you're right. I just don't know what this word is right there. Hang on, let me get it. You see that word? Hang on. Here. So it says roll up in something in wax paper or foil. So, I don't know. Anyway, So maybe all of the wax paper, oil the wax paper. Do you think oiling, because it's cheese? Maybe if I like sprayed it, it wouldn't have stuck as much. I don't know. Corey, try it. Let me know how it turns out for you. Again, I go with what what the recipe says. Sometimes recipes need additional seasoning past what is written, and if you're just following, I like to do it exactly how it's written. And I do try to type out, I will eventually get this typed out where you can go and see the actual recipe, and at the bottom of the recipes I will make little notes, like I'll say I use the 1 pound block I use of Velveeta, I used an 8 ounce block of cream cheese. I'll try and be more specific on things that I used, and if there's anything additional that I think personally it would need, like, oh, maybe put some like cracked pepper in there, or it needs a little more salt, or don't add so much salt. You know, like the recipe a while back, I was like, it was way too much salt, don't add so much. So even though at first, if I think, oh, it's going to be too much of this, or it's, I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I, trust the process and then make notes afterwards. So Facebook does delete these videos after a month, so I haven't really posted links to YouTube. I do post these on YouTube as well. I do have a YouTube channel at the Second Chance Kitchen. I can post a link to that, and so if you want the recipes, or if you want to watch the video later on, you can go back and watch there. I do also have a blog where I try to type out the recipe. It's like a whole process, y'all. I mean, this whole doing videos, it's like, it takes a lot of work, and I'm finding that out, and I'm just like, there's so much. Like, I have my little checklist. Was this at Facebook? Was it on YouTube? Was it on this and that? Da, 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 da. So it is a process, and unfortunately I just have not had time because with everything we're doing around here. But I will get to it. I will make it more a priority and make you guys a priority, because I like doing this. It's fun, and I like hearing if y'all try the recipes. So let me know. Cheese log, basic, it was fun. Might add a little bit more spices to it, but I think it was good as a basic cheese log as it is, and I would add a little more garlic because I like garlic, but that's just me. Anyway, so cheese log today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week on What's Cooking Wednesday. If there's something that you want to have me look for, a certain recipe, or hey, I need a good sugar cookie recipe, which I also need a good sugar cookie recipe, but we'll go do that later. Or if I need a carrot cake, or if I need a new idea for a dinner, or I need some casserole recipes, or some, this or that, let me know. I'll be happy to check and look. I have packed away a lot of my recipes already, but I did keep a bunch out as just so I can look through them, and I have not had a lot of luck at estate sales lately, but again, we have not really been going because we're trying to get rid of things, not bring more things in. So anyway, let me know if there's something you want to find, and I will be happy to look and do my best to do what you're asking for. So again, thanks for joining me. Spread the word, pass it around, and I will catch you next week. Y'all have a beautiful day. Okay, see you later. Bye.